Lira. Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to the weekly Shlog here at Highland Cycles in Montrose, Colorado, where we show you all kinds of cool dirt bike stuff. We mainly work on dirt bikes. Every now and then a street bike rolls in here, but nothing with four wheels and no tracks, at least until a friend of mine talks me into it. But basically, we try not to. So if that sounds fun, you want to learn about dirt bikes and have a lot of fun, join us. Here we go. Alright, first on the lift is this hammered 250SXF. I think it's an 11 or 12, owned by a very good friend. Cliff is an awesome guy. He is beat on this thing though, and it needs a lot of love. First things first, we got problems. There we go. That bolt is broken off in there. I've fixed these before on here, but we're going to go at it again. Hopefully we can, hopefully we can get in there and get this thing fixed. It's always, it's a tough one. We might have to get a new shaft, but I'm hopeful, and I'm going to cross my fingers. You guys cross your fingers with me that we can get this thing out. We're going to start, I think, by getting our center punch so we can put a nice mark right in the middle. Then we're going to get some small drill bits. We're going to drill into that thing, and then maybe an easy out. There's definitely going to be some heat involved, all kinds of stuff. So, here we go. All right, guys. So, I think this will be our tool spotlight for the week. This is just a center punch, and these are really, really handy. I've showed you guys how to use them on carburetors. Show you here on this, but they're nice. Basically, the way they work is you push in like that, and then you see it leaves a little mark. The nice thing about drilling, you can like be really careful, get this as much in the center as possible, then tap, and that gives you a defined little mark to put a tiny drill bit on, so it doesn't skate all over the place. With carburetors, they work really good on pushing float pins out without hammering on it and breaking the tower that the float pin goes through. They're super handy. You can buy them anywhere. This one I think I got from Matco or Snap-on, but it's not they're not expensive. Definitely one of those things that every mechanic should have in their toolbox. So we're gonna come in here. There we go, little mark. All right, got a little drill bit. Now this is a normal right-hand threaded drill bit because I just want to start with that, but I do have left-handed drill bits, so we'll move up to those once you get the hole a little bit bigger, just in case it grabs and tries to spin it out. You guys have commented on that before. I know Bruce, you guys commented on, yes, I have them. We'll use them on this situation. The nice thing about left-hand drill bits is that they're not putting any more pressure trying to screw the thing in. All right, I'm going to set you guys down. All right, guys, so got a good hole drilled. It's probably hard to see. There we go. It's a little off center, but it should be good. Now I'm going to grab a torx bit. Zach and Leandra, by the way, just celebrated their 10th anniversary, so everybody say happy anniversary, Zach and Leandra. That's awesome. Very proud of them. Sounded like it was quite the weekend. There was a lot of crying. There were snakes involved. Things got rained out. It sounds about like my anniversaries normally. Usually when Ruth and I have an anniversary, something is ridiculous. Anyway, guys, I grabbed a torx bit. This is a T15. So I ended up drilling the rest of that out with the, I don't know what size, this size left-handed drill bit. Did not catch and twist it out, no big deal. I like to use a torx bit because easy outs, as they go in, they expand, which puts more pressure on this that then doesn't make them want to come out. Now, sometimes it still works, but not always. Torx bit goes in, you drive that sucker in there, and then it's not pushing it out. And so you got to find the right one. This one looks about right. And also, a quick little tech tip. If you buy Snap-on or Matco Torx bits, you can hammer on them and beat them and break them, and then hand them back to your Matco or Snap-on guys. Sorry, guys. And they'll just hand you a new one. So that's why I go ahead and use these. I guess if you go to Harbor Freight, you buy cheap ones and it's cheaper. But anyway, I don't know how many times I've been through a T15 because I break them a lot. But hopefully this one doesn't break. We're going to try it real hard. I'm going to get the blue wrench out too, heat that sucker up, and we're going to give this a shot. Nice. All right, now we're going to go nice and easy to attempt not to break that. Oh yeah. And then every now and then a blind squirrel finds a nut. Sucker coming right out. So happy about that. Now, I don't think I fouled up that seal, but we might order one anyway. This bike needs a lot of things. For instance, like show this. I don't know if you get, it's broke here. Let me come from this side. There we go. So, yeah, we need to order lots of things, but we're just diagnosing a bunch of stuff. So I wanted to be able to make sure I could let him know, if we needed to get a new shaft. So anyway, that's awesome. I'll check back in here when I get a full list of everything we're going to do to this. All right, now we're going to see if it runs. Kind of doubt it, just looking at it, but you never know. Well, I'll be a son of a gun. I can't believe this thing starts looking like it does. So I guess we will get an exhaust ordered, and there's a few other things. Let's take a look. So it needs, actually the fork seals seem to be all right. So fork seals, amazingly enough, are okay. Shock seems to be pretty good. I'm going to talk to him. He might want to just service it. We'll have to see. I'm sure it's been a while. Looks like we got a counter shaft seal slash maybe shift shaft seal, but probably most likely just counter shaft seal leak. So that's easy to take care of. Obviously needs a full service and an oil change, and probably a rear tire maybe. I don't know. It's not terrible. It got some kind of braking stuff, but not bad. Yeah, actually, amazingly enough, the thing actually looks like it's in decent shape. It's just dirty. It's been kind of neglected for a bit. He has not been able to ride much recently, which is why I'm honestly surprised that that thing starts, because a lot of these early fuel injected, well, all the fuel injected things, if they sit just like a carburetor, the fuel will gum things up, but looking pretty good. Next on the left is this YZ450. It is a 2010, first year of the old YZ450. Customer complaint is a good one. Bike stopped running while riding. Then was able to bump start it a couple times. Now won't even bump start. He's definitely wondering when we're able to get it fixed, and if it's going to be pretty simple. I'm sorry. If this is your bike and you're watching, I'm not trying to make fun of you. That's not my intention. It's just funny because when something stops running while riding, it's usually bad. So let's see how it feels when we try to kick it over. It's no good. Oh man, so it's locked up tight, I would say. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it up in the air and get the back wheel free, put it in gear, and see if it'll rotate the other way. Because sometimes it skips time and the valves get out of time and they hit a piston, it'll boom, hit that piston stop, but then you can roll backwards and go about 355 degrees and then hit and stop the other way. So yeah, let's see what happens. Alright, we're in second now. See if we can make it go the other direction. Oh, now it stops there. Oh, now it's a hard stop, folks. Hard stop. This thing is junk. Now I love Yamahas a lot. I'm a big fan of Yamaha Motor Corporation, but let me show you one thing I don't like about these newer YZs. So, well, actually YZs for a long time, you had to warm them up to check oil. So there's oil sight glass, no oil in it, but you'll notice it's up high on the motor. You got to run this thing for quite a while to even see if it's got oil in it. Let's check and see if it's got any coolant. Basically what I'm trying to do is track down why it blew up so I can make an educated guess as to how bad it is before I waste a bunch of time taking it apart to then tell him that it's going to be $3 grand and have him back out of it and me not get paid for anything. So there's coolant. So that's not what did it, but it's blown right up. So stick with us. We might take it apart, we might not. We're going to give him a call and tell him what the at least minimum something this is going to be. It's high. Next on the lift is this KTM 350SXF. The customer complaint is that it's hard to start after it warms up. Eventually, after it's running long enough, it just won't start. I think he had to push it or pull it out of somewhere. So let's see if it starts now while it's sitting here. It's gonna. This is one of the early fuel injected bikes, and these things were notoriously hard to start when they're cold too. So I like to bump it like that, let the pump run, let the fuel, the relay click off, and then let's see if we give it a little throttle. There it goes. Alright, so now I'm going to let it warm up, firm customer complaint. Also check this out. He's got new parts, but must have been a heck of a crash. That would have been no fun. Other things, guys, that can cause this. So, well, some of the things that can cause this are fuel pressure, like if it's just getting hot and the can't push enough gas. Although normally it'd be the other way around. It'd be like a little bit lean. Also, the motor sounds a little bit loud, like I don't know. So, check valves and also. Make sure that camshaft tensioner is working okay. But then also stators or upholstered coil, all that kind of stuff. Those heat up, they can break down, spark, and then not work. So we're going to let it get nice and hot. Then try to start it, and we'll see what we can find. Alright, so I hooked up our gauge, which I know this isn't the most accurate gauge, but it's good. And you can see it's only coming in. Right at 40. That's when it's running. See what it does when I throttle it. Alright, so it definitely drops when I hit the throttle. It shouldn't do that. It should be able to keep up with enough pressure. So my thought is it's probably time to replace this pump. This is a bit of an old bike. So I'm gonna just recommend that we do that instead of just doing the filter, because we could do the filter, it might be okay, but if it's only pumping that hard, because the last one we just did, what was that? That was the other 350, a little bit newer. I did the filter, it didn't make a difference, and then I had to do a pump anyway, so it was a little while back. But anyway, yeah, I think just gonna do a new pump and it should be good to go. So we'll let that guy know. That's a pretty straightforward one, pretty easy. Now it still could have some sort of electrical issue, but we need to get that fixed for sure. I mean, we know that that's wrong, so let's get that coming, and then we'll go from there. How many carburetors is too many carburetors? It's a question that I get asked all the time. Actually, that question's never been asked, but I'll tell you right now, 4 is way too many carburetors. Yeah, guys, we are working on a good friend of mine, Mr. Chris Markins, CSR 1000. Generally don't do lots of this kind of work because I like to focus on dirt bikes, because that's what we love and that's what we're really good at. But Chris is a friend, and actually he's got this thing so stripped down that dealing with the carburetors isn't bad at all. It actually only took me about 20 minutes to get those things off, which I think in stock form would have taken much longer. But yeah, there they are. We're gonna go rev up the ultrasonic, and we got some parts. So we're gonna rebuild these things. If anything happens, super cool to show you, I will. Otherwise, we'll get on to the next dirt bike job. You should recognize this one. This is from a couple Shlogs ago. This was blown up because one of the screws from the butterfly at the choke had come loose, gone through this thing, bent some valves up and all that good stuff. So we got all the parts here now, finally, right here, ready to rock and roll. We're gonna start by building the head, and then we'll put this thing together, and should fire right up and run really well. All right, so we got it ready to go. Let's pull this thing apart, get these valves out, get new seals in, we'll be good to go. So with this style, it's super simple. We've got this big plate here. That's what's going to allow us to pull these rocker arms out and get the rockers out of the way. So get this off, and then we'll pull that out. All right, these big screws are going to take an impact. So we got our hand impact.
Hey, Morgan.
Yeah.
Do you help load that
Yes.
little Honda?
All right, there we go. Now we can pull those rocker arms out. Should be able to get them with the magnet. Pull the rockers right through there. Cam comes right out. All right, now we just got to grab our valve spring compressor, push down, pull these valves out, and we'll see how bent they are. All right, got the head apart, and now I've got a call into my buddy Mike Schwartz, who does the vapor blasting for us, and you can see, I was just aiming at earlier, these little dings from the valve. So that's no good, but the valve seats are good, I think. I think they're going to seal up. So what we need to do is get this cleaned up. Now, the appropriate way to do this is if we were building a race bike or doing something like that, we'd either get a new head or we get this to the machinist and have them clean it up or whatever. But because it's just a KLX 140 that goes putt around, I think we can get this dialed in good enough. So I'm gonna do this before Mike gets here to pick it up and clean it. Show you what we're gonna do. Start with one of these little roll locks. All right, so that's And obviously I'm hitting this head surface. What I'm going to do is, after I get done, I'm going to take this over. Zach's got that machine piece of granite. We can flatten this out. Make sure that this is nice and flat. But we want to make sure we get all the bumps and stuff off. I'm like, some of you probably go, oh, you're going to ruin it. Well, it's already ruined. So as long as I can get this done without messing up that valve seat, and these valves still seal, then we're good. Like I said, the head's already ruined anyway, so go nice and easy. All right, I like that. That looks pretty good. I think I stayed out of the seat, so we should be good. I got all the high points down, so it shouldn't create any hot spots or detonation. We'll get Mike to clean this thing up, and we'll go back together with it. So Mr. Sheets has got the YZ450 part that was locked up. Let's take a look and see what we got. Just real fast.
It's rough.
Rod is definitely cooked. You can, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's scored right in there. So that's no bueno, which I knew. Oh, there we go, yeah. Hi, Zach. He's not. So hard to get him play right. If you guys only knew how much yelling and screaming went on here. Generally Zach yelling and screaming. He's all silent on things on the camera, but yeah, you guys see. Let's see. Focus. There we go. So that's no good. Also, the reason it was stopping, you can see that the intake valves were not timed correctly. So if you guys don't know, this is what they call an interference engine. That means that if the things get out of time, pistons will hit valves. Not all motors are like that. Old school motors are not interference motors, where it can get out of time and it won't run, but it won't actually do any damage. This one did some damage. So, how's that cam chain look? Yeah, look at that. Not supposed to be that. There we go. So it looks like probably a lack of lubrication is my guess, or a lack of enough lubrication. Got things hot, cam chain skipped time, and bang went the motor. Cams actually look amazingly good. It's weird. Wouldn't expect that. Yeah, cams look okay. Here's the head.
That's over there.
Oh, here we go. So take a look at the valves. That's the intake valve. Actually, it doesn't look terrible, but it touched the piston, so that means it's got to go. There is the head. Head looks okay. So probably won't have to buy one of those. Mike's here. He's gonna clean my head up. In the Carpathian Mountains. All right, we got the kid working here today because he's working on his bike, getting ready for the Shady Burrow Enduro. But today, right now, I've got a pretty cool project. This gentleman, you guys have probably seen this before. Hey, there's Ewan. You've probably seen this before. This beautiful Husaberg 300. And we put an Arcatech head on here. It runs awesome. But when we did that, it bumped the compression up so much that this style starter, which is arguably a terrible style starter, would not spin this motor over. You know, every now and then it would, whatever, but it wasn't good. We put a big nasty anti-gravity battery in it, all that. Helped, but not great. So now I am coming up with my own version of the 24 volt system. So all right, guys, that's the end of the week, the end of the Shlog, and I'm leaving tomorrow morning to head down to the Shady Burrow Enduro with that kid right there. We're going to go and have a ton of fun. Make sure you guys subscribe because lots of content coming out from the Shady Burrow. Make sure you check us out on Facebook and Instagram too if you haven't. I forget that this is a YouTube deal and not everybody. Anyway, whatever. Check us out. It's Highland Cycles on everything, all one word. That 350 is running and working perfectly. The Husaberg is working great too. Cleaned the carburetor, and I think the battery thing is going to be brilliant for him. I'm really happy about that. So now I know how to do that, and I think the trick way is to get 2 of those 4-cell anti-gravities, put them in there, and then you'll be set, man. I think that'll be awesome. Be super light. Yeah. Anyway, if you guys have any questions at all, make sure you comment them below. I love answering you guys' questions. I love you guys. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of 2 wheels, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!